Namaskar. 26th February 2023. A Bhakt Sammelan was held in Ramakrishna Sharda Mission House Khas, New Delhi. Here we present Pravrajika Divayanandapranaji's lecture from the Sammelan. She speaks here on Bhakti.
Om Jananim Sharda Devim Ramakrishna Jagadguru Padapadme Saro Shukla Pranami Namo. Pranamis to Matatis, namaskars to everyone. It's so nice to see the hall so full after such a long time. And you also must be wondering from where this Mataji came suddenly. She's absent for so long. So what to do now? The nature of the work has become like that I have to travel many times. So today we are going to discuss Bhakti and not Vedanta. For the next 13 minutes we are going to discuss pure Bhakti.
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Yes.
So it's something very beautiful to have Bhakt Sammelans, because it's a churning of our mind in Bhakti, to listen about the Lord, to listen to the words of the Lord, and in holy company. So this has been a tradition with our ashrams, Bhakt Sammelan. So please keep visiting the center and participate in the functions in large numbers. This is what we want, because this shrine is so powerful. This shrine, if you just sit here, even recently somebody told me this, if you sit in the shrine, you will not realize what is happening on the road outside. You actually can't hear it, although the road is just next to the shrine. You can't hear anything. So please use these spaces. They have been created for devotees. Isn't it? The mission is for you. So please keep coming in large numbers, and whenever we can, we will be organizing programs like these. I found a very beautiful incident which I want to share with you on Bhakti, on the importance of Bhakti. This incident comes in the life of Akhandananji Maharaj. He was a great favorite of Swamiji. Yes, he was one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, and when he was in Alam Bazar Mutt, there had occurred this very important incident which is actually so illustrative of the importance of Bhakti, the glory of Bhakti. And much later in life, he reminisced about this. He gave out his reminiscences of the Alam Bazar Mutt, and then he gave this incident. It so happened, you see, that time in Alam Bazar, they were just a group of young monks practicing severe austerities. And Sri Ramakrishna had passed on at that time. Of course, Artha doesn't pass away, but he was not in their physical midst. And they were all steeped in tapasya, sadhana. And it was this small group of 12 monks from which the Ramakrishna Mutt began. So in those Alam Bazar days, when they were living there in a house which was like dilapidated and not very good, and very frugal life, and the whole day spent in sadhana, there occurred a tremendous experience in the life of Swami Akhandananji Maharaj. One day he had a slight headache, and not slight, it was a kind of violent headache. He was a young man, so he never had headaches and all that. So he was thinking, what happened? And then one of his brother disciples, Swami Subodhananji Maharaj, put a lap of black pepper on his forehead, just to remove the pain. So it seems it caused a burning sensation, but the pain went after some time. But that night he could not sleep. Because he was not feeling very good also, he could not sleep. So he just sat up on his cot, and he was meditating, thinking deeply about Thakur. When it suddenly occurred to him, see, these pancha bhavas of Vaishnavism, these 5 bhavas, Shanta, Vatsalya, Sakhya, all this, Madhura, all this are, after all, you see, from the Bhakta standpoint. they are the need of the mind of the bhakta. So they are, it's a duality mode worship. So it's a kind of refined Maya. He thought like this at that moment. It's after all Maya because God's real nature is He Satchidananda Swarup. But the Lord, we worship Him like this, with all like a child, like a mother, like a friend. So it's a kind of refined Maya. But what Vedanta says, this, that He is the, He's actually Brahman, He is the underlying cause of all the three bodies, He is the underlying cause of the avastha vichar. He is the, supreme Brahman, the formless, nameless. That is more appealing, that appears more true. So as he was thinking like this, suddenly you know what happened? That room got lit up. The whole room was filled with light. And then he sat there thinking, what is this happening? And he looked and he saw this huge baby in front of him. Gopal, on all fours, Hamaguri diye, what we say, and radiating light, radiating such sweetness and innocence, that perfectly innocent, childlike face of the divine appeared before him. And in his radiance, the whole room was lit. And Maharaj was so stunned. He sat looking at this. What is this Leela happening? And then suddenly he heard the voice of Mother Yashoda. And then she appeared there in the dress of the Gopikas and calling him, Amar Jadumani, Amar Nilmani, Kuthai Tumi, and with something in her hand, butter and kheer. And then as she called him, he came to her and ate that and then again moved here and there. And there was such longing and sweetness in her voice. When he came to her, she was filled with bliss. And when he ate, she was in ecstasy. And when he again turned here and there, she was filled with longing. So looking at this bhav, Maharaj was just stunned. And then suddenly Thakur appeared there. Sri Ramakrishna appeared there with, a lal kapad, that shawl with the red border on his neck. He even describes how he saw Thakur. And then showing this big baby Krishna with his tarjani, with his finger, Thakur said, Dad, dekhi ki bhav. Eta kothay pabe. And then Maharaj burst into tears. And spontaneously it came out of him, Thakur, Amar Nirvan China. I don't want Nirvan. May I, for hundreds of lifetimes, may I enjoy this bhav. May I stay immersed in this bhav. So you see the glory of bhakti, this is what I am trying to tell you. Then, the vision snapped. Everything came back to normal once he said this. And when he opened his eyes, he saw he is fully streamed in tears and completely shaken to the depths of his being. He's in a kind of ecstasy, yet so much of love and joy in his heart. And he went out of the room. And he saw there Shashi Maharaj, Swami Ramakrishna, he was pounding that twig to be offered to Thakur as toothbrush for the worship. In mornings they do that, it was dawn by then. So he went out and found Shashi Maharaj doing that, and he went and embraced him and said, Jano Dada, ami ki dekhechi, do you know what I saw? Then he related this vision, and Shashi Maharaj embraced him and said, Etai thik bhav. See, the Lord Himself teaches us the glory of bhakti. Without bhakti, there is no Vedanta and all that also. Because for knowledge to occur, insight to occur, the mind requires to be utterly purified with devotion. On the foundation of devotion, you can build the infrastructure of knowledge, but nobody can dispense with devotion. It is the fundamental thing about spiritual life. So you see how Sri Ramakrishna is teaching us. And then Maharaj used to quote this incident and say, Bhakti teke bado kichhui nahi. Because Bhakti will help you penetrate into the essence, the real nature, the swarup of the Lord. Mere intellectualizing will not help you penetrate. Don't think Jnana Yoga is intellectual gymnastics. It is something more, much more than that. So you absolutely, all of us require the foundation of Bhakti to be able to really dive into His Swarup, through His form, through His name. Otherwise it's not possible. So never think that these two paths are two different things and Jnana is preferable because Vedanta is about Advaita Vedanta. No, Bhakti Yoga also is part of Vedanta. There is also Dvaita Vedanta, there is Vishishta Dvaita Vedanta and there is Advaita Vedanta. Please remember, Bhakti is the foundation for any yoga. Without the purification of emotion and raising it to the level of devotion, don't think just emotion as we understand it. This world understands emotion in one way and in the life of sadhana you understand it in another way. Because in the world emotion means a slight investment of vitality, vital energy into something very silly, into some confused mind. But in the life of sadhana, it means the total investment of vital energy into the divine. That mood, that bhav, that is bhakti. That is absolutely essential for the knowledge of Vedanta. So you have all our great acharyas giving us this. If you see the life of Madhusudan Saraswati, he was a great acharya. Initially he was an Advaita. He wrote Advaita Siddhi to establish Advaita. But there was such an ocean of devotion in his heart. So from time to time he came back to Bhakti. Finally he went and lived in Vrindavan. And he gives us the Bhakti Rasayan. The author of Advaita Siddhi is also the author of Bhakti Rasayan. He tells us this very important verse in Bhakti Rasayan. I would like to quote that here. Shrutasya bhagavad dharma dharvahikam gata sarvesha manogrittaya bhakti iti abhidiyate. What is bhakti? Shrutasya bhagavad dharma. When you listen to talks about the Lord, to singing about the Lord, to knowing the Lord, when you listen about Him, dharavahikam gataha sarvesham manogrittaya. Like a dhara, the entire mind, if it flows towards Him. Not one chitta vritti, not like in yoga, replacing one chitta vritti with another. No such thing. The entire mind has gone there. The entire mind, effortlessly. Because you are thinking of the best being. You are thinking of the highest. You are thinking of the loveliest. You are thinking of the eternal one. Who comes in form, with name. You are thinking of that. So when the entire mind flows in one stream, like a river going towards the ocean, then that state of mind is called bhakti. See, that state of mind. It is there in seed form in all of us. In fact, we are only seeking Him. Experimenting with the world to go with Him, to go to Him. The world is a huge experiment, a big school. When I was in the school, I used to tell the teachers, actually this is your home and that is the school. The world is a school meant to teach us our lessons so that we understand that no matter how much you invest in a limited mind, it will give only limited experience. But if you invest in the highest, you will get the highest experiences. So bhakti is that, the entire flow of mind and thought towards the Supreme spontaneously, naturally. And what does it result in? What is the outcome of this state of mind? See, dravibhuta chitta is the outcome. Which means what? Dravibhut means it has become liquid. Something so solid and rigid, your mind, the conditioning of your mind, the sanskars, the vrittis, all the negativities, all the fears, all that rigidity will melt away. And the mind itself will melt. Dravibhuta chitta is characteristic of bhakti. So naturally what the jnani seeks to achieve and the yogi seeks to achieve, you will get it naturally out of your life. The mind will melt away and the real stuff will remain over. You as pure awareness will remain over. Bhakti naturally induces this state. One episode of real love or intense prayer to the Lord will leave you in this state of complete impersonality yourself, where there is no silly, stupid mind and sanskars to tackle with, You are just at peace, full of love, without any strong, rigid negativities within you. So it is such an easy path, it is sahaj and saral, natural. Only thing is, you must put yourself in that atmosphere from time to time. You must dip in the river of bhakti from time to time. This is so important. That is why I am telling you the importance of the centers like these, the importance of shrines, consecrated spaces like this. Utilize them because they are meant for these states of mind. Once you experience these states of mind, do you think anybody has to tell you, "Arey, ye usse acha hai, ye behtar hai"? Nobody has to tell you that. You will naturally go into what is sattvic, what is really satisfying, and you will naturally move away from the dissatisfying. You don't have to teach Vivek to anyone. You only have to give the right experience. Then your own mind will tell you what is to be taken up. So the importance of bhakti and the result of bhakti is there for all to see. It changes your mind. Everything in your mind that needs changing will change. And the right kind of sanskars will be produced. Then only, it is possible to have a peaceful, contented life. A life in bhakti, a life in higher devotion. You will know what to prioritize in your life and what to invest in. And it comes as a family culture then. It naturally goes to the next generation. Then, in most families nowadays, the actual issues are how to handle the emotions of others, why this person doesn't obey, that one is not listening, that one is addicted, this one. All these issues, they are only coming because we have not given them the right exposures at the right age. So they are not able to choose, kaun sa behtar hai. This is the problem, isn't it? So, if you generate experiences of this level in your own home, it will be possible to change society, to change the planet. So that is why you see bhakti is all consuming, all transforming. It is the essence of life. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is also a very deep, you can say, a scripture on bhakti, there the author Rupa Goswami gives another characteristic of bhakti which I would like to dwell in here. Because Sri Ramakrishna liked all this very much. He would, in many ways, he would quote this. He would say, Kali Juge Naradiya Bhakti. And he loved the Chaitanya tradition so much. With the singing of kirtans, he would go into Bhakt Samadhi many times. When he came to Vrindavan, he didn't want to go back. He didn't want to leave it at all. So the point is this, we must understand something of this Bhakti tradition originally. It means first person experience in this path. So in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, you have this very beautiful another definition of Bhakti. Please notice this. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadinam anavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhakti iti uchyate. Anya abhilasha shunyam. The state of bhakti is that state where the mind freely flows towards the Lord without any other desire. See, if it is going towards the Lord because I should pass my exam, or I should get my job, or I should get this or that in this world, then that is very poor form of bhakti. But if I am worshipping the Lord thinking that itself is the greatest blessing, that I am able to worship you, उनकी सेवाएं सबसे बड़ा blessing है ना? If this thought, you worship with this thought, at once bhakti will enter the heart. Anya vilashita shunya means this. No putting tags for whatever we offer to the Lord. Because it is an offering from the heart. When you serve your child, do you have a list so that in the future he will do this for me if I do this for him? Never we even think of it, isn't it? Like that. Because he is what he is, I will offer my life itself, not just the things in my home, my life itself at his feet. This is Anya Vilashita Shunyam. Don't keep these, don't make it a barter and a business. You know, when Prahlad was asked, in the Bhagavatam it is there, that go to that Vishnu and ask whatever you want. He said, what? I don't do business with love. Don't insult bhakti by bartering. You must give wholeheartedly. What you give to him will, he will inundate you with the essentials of life. So, anya vilashita shunya. Then, jnana karmadinam anamritam. No silly intellectualizing and attachment to things of this world, which is what karma means here. If we are truly intelligent, we will be detached. Because detachment comes through deep understanding. And if you want to while away your time and your life, yes, be attached to everything. So, jnana karmarina anavritam, untouched by silly intellectual gymnastics and attachments. All kinds of karmas as a result of attachment. Anukulyena krishnanushilanam. In an easy, spontaneous way to follow a lifestyle completely committed to devotion for the Lord. This is bhakti, he says. Which means our daily lifestyle must bear the stamp of sattva. What is a sattvic life? High-minded, high values, devotional attitude, respect, purity in personal life. Without this sattva, bhakti will not stand. So today the kinds of exposures falling on our young people. See, you are all mature devotees, but for youngsters I always say this. You are being attacked on all sides, bombarded by all sorts of exposures. So somewhere you have to place filters and prioritize what the higher experiences of life. Otherwise, the mind will remain, what it is exposed to, it gets that color, isn't it? Thakur used to say this, mind is like the white linen, he used to say. Whatever you dip it into, it will take that color. So, do I daily dip it into bhakti? Do I dip it into awareness? Do I dip it into scriptures? Or do I dip it into, internet and other things which, Instagram, Facebook. You can have as much nonsense as you want in your life, or you can have the real thing. It's our choice. So getting used to these higher states will naturally make the life sattvic. You live at a particular level. Never waste your vital energies. The human mechanism is such, if you invest vital energy carefully, awareness will unfold by itself. If you waste vital energies on all these silly things, in the evening of our life, there will be only regret. So that is why all this is being said in the scriptures, please say. Krishna Anushilanam means a lifestyle which is committed to devotion. Now see how it will be possible in your own homes. When we get up early in the mornings, it is disaster to go to the mobile phone. When you get up early in the morning, let the peace and calmness of meditation come into us. Start the day with worship and chanting. Start the day with the name of the Lord. At least 1 or 2 hours in the morning we can do this, isn't it? Many of us are retired. This is how time should be invested. And then, throughout the day, see, puja for those who are capable of puja, otherwise even simple offerings to the Lord itself makes a big difference in our lives. Have you tried it? You find so everyone these days saying कर्म ही पूजा है. कितने लोगों ने पूजा की है समझने के लिए कि पूजा क्या चीज होती है, how it transforms you. Puja is such a sacred act where you are offering your everything to the Lord. So if you can generate that bhav every morning through an act or even without the act, mentally, even what you offer mentally he takes. And if not anything else, patram pushpam phalam toyam, he has said. Just one leaf, one fruit, one flower, he's satisfied with that. But with that bhav, anya vinashita shukya. If it can be offered at his feet, then you have repeatedly put the bhakti vritti into your mind. Krishna Anushilanam actually means this, a life goaded towards the generation of bhakti, deep bhav within you. Whatever you eat, offer to him. Whatever you take in through the senses is also what you eat. Am I right? Ahar is not just this, Ahar is what I hear, what I see, everything goes into my mind. Everything is ahar. Aharati iti ahar in Sanskrit. So everything I take in is ahar, so whatever I take in, I will offer at his feet. So naturally all this will get purified. One of the best definitions of bhakti is Rishikena Rishikeshwasya Sevana, which means through the senses, you worship the Lord of the senses. You will see only the form of the Lord. You will hear only kirtans and bhajans. 100 things may be around you, but you will choose the best for yourself. So that is why you see all the methods of bhakti are given. If you read the Kathamrit, you will see all the methods of bhakti are there. Tar, Naam, Guna, Kirtan, Thakur says. Isn't it? Sadhu, Sangha. Or? Sada Sat Vichar. Vivek. Weighing your own experiences and seeing which is better. And what you can understand cause and effect relationship with respect to everything if you do Sat Asat Vichar. Every day reading the gospel, so that every day at least those vrittis are generated that what is Maya, what is real. Otherwise, today's media bombardment will just blow life away. So this is Krishna Anushilanam. All this is included in Krishna Anushilanam, which means everyday life has been geared to move towards the Lord. By the end of a decade, you will be able to see only bhakti vrittis remain. You are at complete peace with yourself. Oh, sweet joy prevails in your heart. So this is the fruit of bhakti. a life in bhakti will yield this fruit. You see, there is this beautiful story of Parikshit. Let me go a little into that before I end the talk. You know the story of Bhagavatam, so I am not going into that. Thakur used to say, Bhagavad Bhakta Bhagavan Ak. Same bhav is there. So Bhagavad is a scripture which is dripping with devotion to the Lord. The very theme is that. Because this king, Parikshit, right from his birth, he was protected by Lord Krishna, isn't it? When he was in his mother's womb, to be protected from that Brahmastra, Shri Krishna entered the womb and protected him. And this baby saw him like this and tried to see who he is. So Pariksha, because he did that, his name was Parikshit. And what happened, he went into the ashram of a sage. The sage was in meditation. He was only a young man, full of, frivolity and strength. So he put a dead snake which was lying there on, I think, Shringa Rishi. And then his son he went away. Parikshit went away. And then when the Rishi's son came, he was so infuriated and he said, "Who did this to my father? I curse him, that in 7 days he will die." When Parikshit heard this, at once, he gave his resignation letter. He was king. He resolved to renounce the kingdom. He called his son, handed over the kingdom to him, and went to the forest and inquired with the rishis, "What should I do now? I have only 7 days to live. Should I think of the Lord? Should I do japa? Should I do meditation? Should I do pranayam? Should I do tratak? What method should I employ now so that I gain the feet of the Lord?" And then all of them gathered, all the rishis of that area gathered, and they laid the Vyasasana. And who came and sat in the Vyasasana? Shukdev himself, the greatest Brahmagnani of his time, one who was born pure, Vyasa's son, came and sat and expounded the Bhagavad. And the entire theme of the Bhagavad is devotion to the Lord is the only purpose of human life. Sri Ramakrishna says this so many times, isn't it? Manush Jivaner Aki Uddesh. There's only one purpose to human life. That is the realization of God. And the theme of the Bhagavad is devotion to the Supreme Lord is the only purpose of human life. So, you see, if you become devoted to anything else, that object itself will teach you devotion to God is the purpose. It is that simple actually, Human life is geared for schooling and understanding. No matter whom you give your love to, what you are devoted to, they will only help you understand it is God alone who is true and to whom you should give your heart. So in the Bhagavatam, when Shukdev starts expounding the Bhagavatam, he gives 3 most important points to Parikshit regarding devotion. You know the stories of the Bhagavatam are many, and there are stories within stories, and there are very wonderful stories of Prahlad, Dhruva, so many devotees. But the 3 most important points in the Bhagavatam regarding devotion is, first he says, in various verses he says this, be devoted to the form of the Lord. Do you know why? Because we are used to taking in forms. Our eyes are turned outward, isn't it? The nature of this mechanism is it is turned outward. So you will keep consuming forms and giving names and creating personalities in your mind. So dwell on the personality of the Supreme Godhead, dwell on His form. When you meditate, many people say this, should I meditate on Om, or I can hear Om? All that is alright, yes. But sadhana should follow a course. If you are totally committed to meditating on Sri Ramakrishna's form or Mother's form, the form of the Lord. You know, the mind will get divine by itself. The form will generate that bhav, because that is not an ordinary form, and our mind is used to consuming forms. It works like that. That is why he says, be devoted to the form of the Lord. Second, be devoted to the name of the Lord. Your ears are constantly taking in sounds. Instead of taking in all forms of sound, why don't you hear the name of the Lord? Be completely devoted to, because Nama Nami Ak, in your mind, you will enter into the state of the Lord, he says. You will enter into the Swarupa of Krishna. If you take Krishna now, he says. And third, be devoted to good works. Because only that goes with us, isn't it? So the importance of these three. See, in yogic meditations it is called Nam, Rup, Dhyan, Nam and Guna Kirtan. Guna Dhyan, what is called, and then this. Be devoted to good works all through your life. If this much can be done, you will enter into the state of the Supreme Godhead. This is the assurance being given in the Bhagavatam. See, the methods are so simple, isn't it? The only point is, we do it for some time, after that we don't do. This is our problem. Now we heard this talk, all enthusiasm. Now you go home, you do it for 1 week. After that you need another dip, so you should come. That's why I'm saying. Constant touch with these things is required. See, we would very much love to be in the Himalayas. Why we make centers in cities like this and all that, tell me? Why this institution here? It's for you. So if you don't come, what's the point in the institution? So all the time, exposure to these things, dip into these things. And these days, devotees, those with the devotional temperament are also rare. So to be able to get company like that, people like that around you, becomes very important. Minds influence minds, isn't it? So if we can do this, these simple steps, it will be possible to generate bhakti in our hearts. Once you have raised the level of bhakti to a certain level, then you don't need anyone. Then it's fine. You'll be happy and good by yourself. But until then, all this is required. Thakur, whoever came to Thakur, see, many times Thakur would be in the state of bhav samadhi. But always he insisted bhakti shar, isn't it, to whoever came to him. The way, if you actually see the portrayal of Sri Ramakrishna from the Gospel, you will find this. He comes around to that statement again and again. He is maybe talking of the highest Advaita Jnana. And finally, again he will come back to this. That important bhakti is in life. Finally, of course, the highest devotion, highest knowledge are one and the same thing. There is no difference between them. But when we are taking baby steps, you must consciously bring all these things into your life. And that is why the touch of divinity everywhere in your homes. When we go to the homes of devotees, we actually see this. See, now I'm going on a long tour to US and UK and all that. I can tell you thousands of devotees there have made a private shrine in their homes. One room they have set apart. It was not meant to be a shrine, but one room has been set apart. On the wall fully is pictures like this. Thakur, Ma, Swamiji, in some homes, Raman Maharshi, all this is there. And only asan. And absolute silence. Thousands of devotees are doing this. In the midst of that plenty and that, it's US. They are sticking to this like anything, and Ma Sharda is their favorite. Only Ma Sharda they want actually. Why are they doing this? The point is this: everybody's heart is hankering only for this. If you can bring this into your life today, now, the evening of your life will be well spent. It will be a life in devotion. Otherwise, the 101 distractions, Mother herself used to say, that there is no end to the nonsense of this world. It will keep on impinging on your senses and mind and keep modifying the vrittis of your mind and keep you restless. What is the point in all this? Tell me. So make the essential thing dominant. If you are intelligent, you will do that. Make the most essential aspect of life, the devotional life, prominent and dominant in your homes, in your mind, and everything will become easy. At least 1 or 2 hours, if you can spend there in a room like this, where what I love about these Western devotees is absolute silence is there everywhere, including the universities where I go. Absolutely, there are areas which are marked out as silent zones, or 50% silent zones, or 80% silent zones. In 80% silent zones, you can only whisper. 50% you can talk. And in absolute silent zones, you cannot talk anything. And everywhere these spaces are there. How will you feel awareness if you are not quiet? So, all these things we should be able to practice even intensely here, isn't it? Silence is the first step towards the practice of real yoga. So, let us make these few things very, very, they are practical tips for the spiritual life. One is every day dipping into these things. Reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna every day. Krishna Shilanam, life geared towards devotional practice. Fourth, the practice of silence and all these virtues which we have been discussing. Fifth, holy company. So keeping in touch with people who are doing this. And then you will live a God-soaked life, which is the purpose of human life, isn't it? The happiness will come by itself. If you set the means right, the end comes by itself. So it's very simple. This is all I wanted to say in this Bhakt Sammelan. I want all of you to pray that everything about this visit and all this goes well, with the prayers of everyone, with the wishes of everyone, everything should go well. And please keep your touch with this center. This is the most important thing. Thank you very much.
We all being
Stay tuned to
bhaktas
Devakshar.
must have
Share
enjoyed
and like
this
the
lecture a
videos.
lot. And do not forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for being with us.